Humans, the cardboard. Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. We have some fun little news today. The OCG gets their brand new ban list that had been announced a couple weeks ago. It's pretty cool. It doesn't have direct implications towards us, but sometimes it can allow us to draw maybe some inferences on what might happen on our upcoming ban list. To be fair, our last ban list, from what I remember, I think was like mid-April, and now we're kind of past mid-June. So we're talking, in a world where they keep the trend of doing it every 3 months. We're talking July, maybe late July. Maybe it's one that they let run a little bit because we are getting to the very end of our competitive season. So maybe they want to finish up everything in the competitive season, give us a little breathing room, and then drop a list that kind of ushers us into the new format, into a new season. That tends to be how Konami likes to do things. But we could still draw some stuff from here, and we're getting closer and closer to that next ban list and keeping the format fresh. So let's take a look at what the OCG got. I'm going to do my best. I don't follow the OCGs like super, super close, but I keep my eye on it. I like to keep some, a pinky finger on the pulse of what's going on with them to kind of, get an idea of how things are going to go here when we get new products, or stuff gets banned, whatever. Okay, so starting with the forbidden section, what you see is two generic cards, really. No actual like archetypal hate here. This is Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess. You're a little late to the party, OCG, but that's cool to see. This has been a card that I see in lists all the time in the OCG, and then I have to remind myself, oh, we don't have that. So how much does this deck, that I'm looking at need Appaloosa as a crutch to, build a strong enough board? But now that's gone. No more 3 monster negates paired with other stuff type end boards. No more making this before Nib. Nib may become a better card in the OCG because of Appaloosa going away. Stuff like that. So Appa's a cool one. It feels like the kind of card that shouldn't be around. It just gives you too much value for generic bodies. But that's just me. Next up, you have number 67, Paradise Smasher. Now, I love this one. This one I actually really hope is on our next ban list. I think we're set to get Justice Hunters in the very beginning of August. So, a little over a month away from now. Ideally, we would have a ban list before, if not right around that time, and Paradise Smasher would get banned preemptively. This is the kind of end board card that creates non-games. It is a card that like makes your opponent lose like on its own if you're able to make a rank 5. The issue with that is like, why hasn't that card been banned before? Canine is like the first actual legit really clean archetype at making rank 5s over and over and over again, and so it's a little bit too easy to make now in an archetype, and it needs to go. It just can't be. There's other good rank 5 options for interruptions. They have in archetype ones for Canine. We have the new Valon Sky Blaster, and others as well. So they don't need to use this card as a crutch either. I like this hit. I like both of these hits. Now, what you will notice is based on their recent metagame, which we'll show here real quick, nothing banned from any of these actual archetypes competing at the highest level. Now, honestly, I think once you get to Malice and bend it down, you're like, that's awesome. Look at how close all of these decks are. This is so cool and diverse. Very happy about that. Now, that being said, you do still have Vanquish Soul sitting at the top at 33% on the most recent Road to the King. Now, keep in mind that was 2 weeks ago, so things may have changed a little bit since then. And Yummy still having solid play, but 17%, that does not make me go like, oh, gotta kill Yummy. Now, maybe if Vanquish Soul got axed or something, Yummy would jump to closer to 30%, but I think there would be some kind of split where a lot of these archetypes could maybe take a slight bump and the format could feel super, super diverse. But right now, Vanquish Soul is by far the leader in the clubhouse. And to be fair, I think in most of these lists, they do play Paradise Smasher. So, hopefully by banning Paradise Smasher, it means their end board loses like that auto win type piece of the end board. And from there, you're able to kind of handle them a little bit better. But I'm not sure if this is the only hit that it'll actually do enough to like pull them back to the rest of the pack, should say. All right, into the limited section, you have anti-spell fragrance going from unlimited to limited. Again, following behind the TCG on this one. I gotta say, reading the OCG ban list, sometimes I go, you know what? I think the TCG ban lists actually do a pretty good job most of the time, because they've been late on this. This card sucks to play against, always has, always will. Probably should just be banned, but we'll take it to one. That's still a positive thing. Just more generic stuff. Wandering Griffin Rider going from forbidden to limited. I'm sure very soon that will just be unlimited. The Adventure Engine feels a little out of date at this point, so unless they get brand new support for it, which maybe this could be alluding to, right? Maybe there is new support coming for them, because didn't the Adventure Engine come out in the same pack as Exosister and Rescue Ace, and they're both the tactical try decks going into this year. So those two getting support, maybe they also line it up with some adventure support. Don't know for sure, but maybe that's part of the something you could read into there. Nightmare Goblin actually comes off the ban list here. Uh, yeah, this card got banned because of what, Goki back in the day, namely, and I don't know where they go with this, if this card actually has like crazy implications. It feels like we're not quite just spamming links like we were back then. So I don't know what the utility would be necessarily for Goblin. I know he gives you an extra normal summon, and he gives you like his bonus effect to draw and everything if he's co-linked, but I don't know if there's decks that like actually want to facilitate him and make use of that. There, semi-limited, Sprite Jet goes from limited to semi-limited. Honestly, if not Sprind, Sprite Fairy. What is the link to? Why can't I think of its name? Uh, if it's banned, you can have every single Sprite card at 3. It does not matter. That's the one that really matters. Mass Change 2. I guess with the new hero support, they want to release this a little bit. Little bit of a scary card, just because like any dark deck being able to drop Dark Laws is kind of scary, but at the same time, like it takes this card in hand plus a discard. I think that's fine. The other mass change is just better. And then unlimited, they released Cyberjar. They released Zodiac Dryden, which does mean that the OCG now has Dryden at 3 and Barrage at 3. We need to see some of that now, because I think that leaves the OCG with Rat Pier at 1 and Broad Bull banned, and every other Zodiac card is unbanned. So I think the next step for them at some point would be to maybe errata a Rat Pier to make its effect when it's a material, like a use once per turn type effect. And then I think you can unban him. Still be a really good card, but just not loopable multiple times. So I think that would be the next step. And then same thing, maybe I'm just making Broad Bull a hard once per turn. You could pack them together, do the erratas at the exact same time, and give Zodiac all their tools back. It'd be really cool. Terratop goes to 3. We've had that again following the TCG Rescue Ace Airlifter. Did we put Airlifter to 3 yet? With Original Sinful Spoils getting banned back then, like, did we put Airlifter back to 3? I want to say we did, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But yep, that should be right. Again, coming up on new Rescue Ace support throughout the rest of this year. Very cool. Nightmare Throne, from semi to unlimited. That deck's not doing anything. Good UL can have that. Fusion Destiny from semi to unlimited. Again, nothing, but also does help heroes. So that's cool for them having 3 of those. And then Big Welcome. Again, just a bunch of decks that aren't really doing anything. So just give them one more good consistency card. You're seeing that with a bunch of these, basically. Is given, okay decks like one more really good consistency card for them. But nothing too crazy. So I guess when you talk about like what's on the ban list, it's not huge. It's not doing a ton. It's mainly trying to clean up some degenerate type stuff in the format. Really, the big hits here that you worry about at all are just Anti-Spell, Oppo, and Paradise Smasher. Those are good hits, but this is not a very impactful ban list, it feels like. The best deck in the game doesn't really feel like it goes after that. Now, to be fair, Justice Hunters is still relatively new for them, so this may just be their kind of first big, their first, I don't know about big, but ban list post Justice Hunters. And they, a lot of times in these places, they're like, unless something super, super degenerate is coming from a specific archetype, we want to give it, 2 ban lists to kind of rock, and then maybe on the next one they'll actually nick these. Same thing with Vanquish Soul though. They also came out, you know, they're also relatively new here, and they just don't want to hit them yet. So it looks like the OCG is going to go through one more format of this. Again, maybe Paradise Smasher brings this deck a little bit back down to earth, but we have to wait and see. On to that, you also have stuff like Yummy, basically completely untouched here. And wait, what are the other ones? Let's see. The other decks that have been performing lately, Malice, basically no hits here, but Malice already took some decent hits on the last ban list, I think. So, you know, they're okay. Sky Striker only taken, and everything else is only taken 7.5% or less. So it really feels like nothing else here really needs it. There's maybe an argument that Canine needs to see a hit just because every Vanquish Soul list is probably just playing Canine. It's too good. Almost all of them, as you can see here, 88 to 4 that are versus aren't. And Canine Crystron's around. I think it's in some other, I'm sure, rogue decks as well. There's like some pure Canine. There's an argument that maybe that as a generic engine needs to be nerfed a little bit. Do you put Izuna to 1 or something like that? I don't know. But maybe there's something you look at there. But for now, it looks like they're giving them one more format to kind of mess around and keep it somewhat similar to this. They just want to clean up some of the degeneracy in the format, which I think is still good in the long run. If you don't want to go after any specific archetype, you want to at least clean that stuff up. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the new OCG ban list. I'm no expert, but just kind of looking at it from here. There's some cool stuff. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below on the new OCG ban list. Let me know what you're thinking for the next TCG ban list. It kind of creeps up on us, but we're kind of getting closer and closer to that for us as well. Curious to see where you guys land on it. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.